Hello, in this video I will talk about how I prepared my celibate hens to win back-to-back long distance races. They won the 407-mile combine and 2 weeks later won the 507-mile combine by a very wide margin. Leading up to the long distance race, my hens flew every race of the season. The race before the 407 miles was a 317-mile race. They flew about 6 hours in the wing. They came home to the normal mix in the water. You can see that in my Dominate Racing, my natural health, what I do for the water. It's really just like electrolyte, oregano, probiotic type of concoction that helps them recover. I also had all the top feed in front of them they wanted upon return. They get to eat the traditional from Versele Laga, the Energy. I had start mix. I was out of champion. All they want for one day upon return. Most important meal after a strenuous flight or after any workout is the first meal. So you want to get the birds to recover as quickly as possible. All season, due to lack of time, I haven't been training my birds as much as normal, and I haven't used the supplements like I regularly use. So this year it's been pretty strictly, I give them the apple cider vinegar for 2 days after return. I give them the red cell horse vitamin in the middle of the week. I haven't added anything on the grain. I haven't used the yellow drops. Again, I think it's beneficial. Maybe because I've been naturally on natural health for over 10 years, it's not as beneficial for my birds. But if you're newly to natural health, I would recommend following the program. But I haven't followed it, and I haven't noticed any difference in results. This year, due to lack of time, I've been training my pigeons maybe 1 day a week between races. So the pigeons will fly on a Saturday and only be out of the loft one time between, during the week before the next race. So leading up to the 407-mile race, my birds went on a 65-mile toss on Tuesday. The race would have been on that following Saturday. Took them about an hour and 20 minutes. That was the only flight of the week. I went into that race. I was feeding my normal depurative mix. You can see my video where I talk about feeding our celibate hens maybe less than you think, and I did a part 2 showing the measurements of what I feed my hens each day. So then I fed them that regular mix, the depurative mix, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, I switched them to Versele Laga Energy and Versele Laga Traditional. A lot of high fats, a lot of small seeds. For the one day, the day of shipping, they had all the fat seeds they wanted. Fresh water only the day of shipping. Friday, possibly they eat on the truck, I'm not sure. Saturday was the race, and it was just a phenomenal. On the Saturday at the 407-mile race, we actually had a great race. We were 14 minutes ahead of our club with the first hen, and then 3 minutes later we had the next two, 14 minutes ahead of the next loft with the first hen. We actually won the combine by about 2 minutes. The most impressive part, the wind was blowing from the north. I'm in the north, and most of the fanciers that were competitive were in the deep south. So it was a day that I shouldn't have won with those hens. So again, they came home from the 400-mile race. They ate all the Versele Laga Energy, the traditional. I have start. I wasn't able to get champion mix, but again, another grain mix. All they wanted, they ate it all day Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday for half a day. The water was the mix that you'll see that I use. It's kind of like an electrolyte, sugar, oregano mix. It's in my video that we talked about earlier. I'll put all the links below in these videos that I talk about so you can follow along. And then they rested. They rested all week until Thursday, where they had a 35-mile toss. So then I wanted to ship the top 3 hens back to the following 300. I figured they were hot, and I shipped them, and I had a bad race. After talking to the truck driver, he said upon liberation, the flock broke up. Birds were landing in trees. Sounded to me like a falcon attack to me. It didn't make a lot of sense, and I didn't have a good race. So I was disappointed following that 400. So my best hens flew all but one of my best hens flew the 400. I put them back in the 300. It was about a 7 hour on the wing. And then that week before the 507-mile race, they did the apple cider vinegar Sunday and Monday, red cell one day, and I kept him on the depurative, and you can see how I feed in my videos for the long distance. I would actually recommend feeding, training, and resting for long distance. It's worked well for me for 20 years if you take a look at that video. So going into Wednesday night, they were predicting a headwind 500-mile race, a tough, real tough 507-mile race for me. So on the Wednesday evening, the day before shipping, I gave the hens all they wanted of the Versele Laga Energy with some of the traditional mix from Versele Laga. On the day of shipping, I gave them all the Versele Laga Energy and traditional mix that they wanted, just all the high-fat seeds. Excuse me. The hens were super light and buoyant, but I figured they had enough fat to fly the race. So we shipped Thursday. The race was on Saturday, and my best hen, 321, she's actually leading American Racing Pigeon Union all-distance champion right now. She came in at 11 hours and 20 minutes, and she was 16 minutes ahead of the next loft in the combine. My next hen was 3 minutes behind, a 4-year-old 327, and she was 3 minutes behind 321 and whatever. She was 13 minutes ahead of the combine, and my next hen was something like 2 or 3 minutes ahead of the next loft in the combine. I'm going to put step by step on what I did with these hens in the description below so you can follow along and realize that my birds, they race, they rest, they maybe have a training flight, or they always have a training flight, and then they race. I'm not pushing them, they're not on the road, they're not lot flying. It's a real simple system. And this year I had less time than usual, so I left out some of the products that I normally use, but I do suggest you do follow it closer than I have with the products that I suggested in the Dominate Racing Our Natural Health program. As you can see, my methods are for fanciers that don't have a lot of time. You can be very competitive racing pigeons without a lot of time. I do it with super pigeons, great health, and great body weight in feeding. So if you can combine excellent pigeons and that are really healthy, and if you can nail the body weight, you can have a lot of success in this sport. So now I'm getting my pigeons ready for the 500-mile race. It'll be this coming Saturday. Last race was postponed. The truck broke down, so we are going to race again tomorrow. But my 500-mile team that flew last Saturday, they've been resting. They haven't done anything but rest. The first bird flew 11 hours and 20 minutes. Some of them flew 12 and a half hours to 16 hours. And they will go out on Tuesday, 2 days from now. So they'll have over, like, say 9 days, 10 days of rest. And then they'll go on a 35-mile toss on Tuesday. I'll probably do a 35-mile toss on Thursday, the day of shipping. Feed them heavy Wednesday night, feed them heavy Thursday, and then they'll go back to the 500-mile race. So in a 2-week period, they're going to have 2 flights. Keep that in mind. Race, 2 short training tosses, and race. No other flying in between. They're just in the loft. They're just resting, they're eating, and but again, I'm very strict with the feed. Watch my feeding videos. Now watch my measurements. You have to be very strict with the feed. If you train like me, you have to feed like me. If you feed heavy and you try to apply my system of training, it'll be a disaster. If you feed like me and you train really hard, it'll be a disaster. So you have to be careful. And I hope you like my videos. Please like and subscribe and share them to your friends. And I'll keep them coming. And hopefully we have another big performance. And I'd love to win 3 combines in a row. I will also put my results. I'll link to the results below also. And my system, exactly what I did day by day, so you can follow along. Thank you.